researching blockchain technology on your own, there's a lot of different sources. You kind of have to decipher what's correct and what's not correct. But this class really has, information across a breadth of different topics. And it not only provides that wide range, but it goes very deep into certain topics as well. So you get a very good understanding by the end of the class of not only blockchain, but use cases, kind of what it'll look like in the future as well.
I like most about the boot camp was that it was very informative. The knowledge and information that we actually attained, I would say with the knowledge and information that I gained was very impactful. It was actually more correlated towards the trends in the industry today, and it's something that I can actually use in my business practice.
Well, coming into boot camp, I had really no knowledge of what blockchain was, what the applications, what the use cases were. So just getting informed into new technology was really important, and then to be able to see applications towards my business are an invaluable lesson.
The most that I liked about this boot camp, first of all, is it's very interesting that Intuit Factory and Georgia State University are having a collaborative. So it's a public-private partnership as far as instruction. As someone who is not a digital native, first of all, understanding technology is already, in some ways, a big learning curve. But we're talking about abstractions and philosophies that ultimately haven't yet been proven. But the main thing about this boot camp is that the way that RUP has designed the program to introduce concepts and vocabulary and also real use cases and bringing in professionals in the area who are actually working on this, it really does lend itself towards a more complete understanding, even though we don't know how this will evolve. And that really is very important at this stage, and I think for most people that are trying to understand the blockchain space.
The bootcamp curriculum was really well structured, which is like actually I was a novice, and it has the information for everyone. I would say from novice to the expertise in the blockchain environment. It's really a well structured one, I would say.
I think my favorite part was the guest speakers. Lots of very knowledgeable people doing really cutting edge stuff in the inventory or industry, and to get to hear firsthand from them what they're doing and how it kind of can apply and affect the industry going forward was really, really cool.
The boot camp is very interesting. What I like most about it is the application, that how we leverage the technology, bootcamp technology, in the business world.
What I really liked about the boot camp was just the in-depth knowledge about how blockchain really works, and then how to really apply it in our specific business field. That's something that's really hard to find because it's just an individual approach. You can look up how blockchain works on the internet, but you really need that, that in-class discussion and that expertise to know how it specifically relates to your field.
For me, unlike a lot of people in the class, I have less of a technical background, more of a business background. So I'm far more interested in the use cases and how we can leverage the technology to address a lot of issues in our society right now. I think to that point, there's the FAT framework that says, right, the protocol layer is this small, the application layer is this much in terms of value. So just trying to understand how that application layer will add value.
I would say the most valuable thing that I took away was the understanding of how the world of cryptography actually works. We have a better understanding of blockchain architecture, and we have a really, really great understanding of how the world is actually impacted with blockchain technology today.
So probably the most valuable lesson is the application in terms of what we do on a day-to-day basis in terms of regulation, transferring assets, traceability, just having the lineage and how that can be applied to different industries.
Most valuable is going to be where it really is it's more of an informed choice about does one want to pursue this space? Blockchain may not necessarily be something that is appropriate, for maybe all industries, for instance. It could be at some levels, but what it does do is by having more comfort, then there's better ability to be open to possibilities, and at the same time having a good grounding in the information to make wiser choices in a space that still is going to be something that probably is going to see a great deal of settling out in the next 10 years.
As I mentioned, when I came here, I was a novice, and now I can confidently talk about blockchain when I get out of this place, I believe. Which is I didn't expect that when I entered this bootcamp, but now I can say that I got that point.
In addition to the information from the guest speakers, I guess I had like a basic knowledge of blockchain technology, but now I kind of understand more in depth, like the technical aspect of how it works, and I think that's going to be very valuable going forward.
The most valuable thing I take away from it is the potential, the understanding what bootcamp technology can do for us in the future.
I would say the most valuable thing we could take away from the boot camp was the business model. Towards the end of the boot camp, we created a business model based on whatever blockchain company that we wanted to create, and then we got to really flesh out that idea and see how it would work in real life, and it was cool to use what we had learned and then see how it would work in real life.
If you have any interest in blockchain, it's still emerging, you have to go to this class. I don't see too many other classes really out there like it. Even the top business schools don't really have programs like this yet. So really, if you have an interest in blockchain, this is really where you have to go to get an understanding.
The bootcamp was very informative. I would say that if you can actually commit and dedicate the time, you will walk away with knowledge and information that you probably never thought you had. Very, very good information.
So I would say to anyone that it's great to get informed onto new technologies, whether or not some of the industries or applications fail, just having a knowledge of the overall system and being able to gain ideas from other people in other industries is really important.
I would say it would be for anyone. I would say that one thing that really opened my eyes in this space is that, again, I'm a complete novice. This is something that is entirely abstract to me. And I'm also sitting next to people who, here at Georgia State University as students, who are already coming to the table with a very sophisticated understanding. The key is that, this boot camp is promoting a forum by which everyone can express their perspectives, they can voice their ideas, and that there's an accepting commitment to really understanding that there's going to be many different ways in which people can utilize this technology for the betterment for their companies as well as for themselves, and that there's really no judgments on that.
It is really good, and again, these instructors have a very good knowledge. On top of that, the guest speakers, those guys are awesome. Actually, they are able to bring in their knowledge and expertise onto the table, which is very good for the participants.
Really, it started, you didn't really need any prior knowledge going into it, and it really just caught me up and gave me an advantage going forward.
I already did. It's a really good program. It provides a very wide spectrum of what bootcamp is about and what we can do with this technology.
I would tell a colleague or a friend that regardless of your knowledge level, if you know nothing about Bitcoin, or if you think you have a really good understanding of how it works and think you won't even learn anything, you still will. There's always stuff to be learned no matter what your knowledge level is.
Yeah, I mean, his teaching style is great. He very friendly, very easy to talk to. Has a ton of knowledge. He works with a bunch of startup companies, right? His company is a consultancy, so he has a lot of experience and knowledge that he can, provide to the class.
Roop is very knowledgeable. He understands the industry. He understands blockchain technology, and he's able to explain it and answer your questions at a level that I've never experienced with most instructors before in the past.
It was a really interactive, fun class. I truly enjoyed it, and it made the 4 days go by very quickly. So it was a great learning experience.
Extraordinary. It truly has to be a passion. I mean, even 10 years on after Bitcoin, in its infancy was started in 2008, we're a decade in and there's still a colossal amount of non-acceptance. There are many countries in the world right now who really view this as a threat. And to be able to overcome that challenge on a geopolitical, socio-political scale, as well as a cultural understanding, then, Roop and his colleagues and the people who are involved in this area really are showing their passion and commitment to this by taking the time, effort, and energy and building the information and the databases so that they can promote this knowledge and that, it will be something that is more of a comfort in our culture.
Actually, I appreciate the way he has structured the curriculum, and he has brought in, it is again the module, the way he has driven the training, starting from the day 1 to day 4. It is like awesome, and again, he is very knowledgeable, and most of the time he was able to answer most of the out-of-box questions, and again, almost all the questions asked in the boot camp was answered by him, which is like, he is very knowledgeable, I would say.
He's super knowledgeable on the subject, very much knows what he's talking about, very energetic, over-the-top teaching style, but I liked it. It worked very well.
It's great. The best thing about him is not only his knowledge is great, his passion about the topic is really wonderful.
Roop's knowledge and teaching style keeps it definitely interesting when it can get a little bit dry in hour 6 learning about blockchain infrastructure. It can get a little bit boring, but he definitely keeps it interesting, keeps it energetic, and keeps the discussion moving.